What absurd experience made you quit dating apps for good? She cast a spell on me then pretended to be a cat. I had just moved to a new city. I didn't know anybody there, so I began to use Tinder to explore the dating scene around town. I landed one from a girl who seemed just like an artsy hippie type. We had a few exchanges through the app and then decided to meet up for a drink. I picked her up at her house, and she greeted me at the door and gave me a huge hug. She said the name of a local bar she wanted to go to for us to chat and get to know each other. I told her I would drive and proceeded to my car. The first red flag I noticed was when I walked to my car and opened the door. She had just followed me to the driver's side and was standing behind me, staring. I looked at her blankly for about 15 seconds and asked her if she was going to get in. She said, "Sure, I would love to," and went a long way to the passenger side around the back of the car. Since I had just met the girl, I figured she had just maybe smoked some grass or something, as I had gotten the vibe that she was a bit of a stoner. As I was driving to the bar, she talked in a very low voice, almost as if she was trying to whisper. I am not hard of hearing or anything, but I had to ask her to repeat herself several times just so I could make out the full sentences she was saying. When we got to the bar, I made sure we got a seat closer to the back, away from most people, so that I could have some quiet in order to hear her. The conversations carried on as normal from this point, and it was a lot of fun for the time being. We talked about different things we were interested in, and she brought up that she recreationally used grass and a few other tripping substances, like mushrooms and such. I am not much of a fan of these, but it at least made me relax in the back of my mind to think maybe she was just high off marijuana, which rationally explains some of the out there behavior. Granted, I had a few drinks at this point, so I was honestly not thinking straight. I asked her if she wanted to go to my place after drinks, and she agreed. We had a few more drinks when we got to my place. Then, she started talking about her jewelry. This is where it gets weird. She told me her jewelry was her big secret, which defined her. When I asked her why it was so important, she said, "I'm actually Anastasia, and I was never killed in Russia. My jewelry is my link to my past." It was hard for me to take that seriously at this point with how much I drank, so I kinda challenged that statement using the little bit I knew about history. At this point, she freaked out and started yelling at the top of her lungs about how I don't respect ancestors and history. Then she got too quiet and tiptoed right up to me and grabbed me by the neck. She then brought my face eye to eye with hers while still holding my neck. She says, "I am a shaman, and I will curse you. My ancestors have destroyed many people, and you do not respect that. You are from oppressive ancestors, and they will be punished." Then she put her hand in a whiskey glass, made a cross on my face, and kissed my forehead. At this point, I started to sober up a little. I talked her into calming down, telling her I was only joking. Then she slowly started returning to normal. Then, she started talking about her cat fetish. She tells me she has a list of people who she tames to act as cats. I am not about judging people on their fetishes, so I listen in. She then tells me everything she does to them and starts acting like a cat in my living room. If she had not yelled at me earlier on, I might have almost been turned on by it. The red flags in my head were tingling like crazy at this point, so I just listened and tried not to set her off. She noticed sage on my kitchen counter and asked me to let her light it and bless the house. I tell her no, she can't light it and that it's my thing to do alone. Then, she freaks out, telling me I am a horrible human being and screaming everywhere. I tell her I can take her home now, and she runs to the door and goes outside. As I get outside, she screams at the top of her lungs that I am a horrible person and should perish. I tell her she can walk herself home then, and I go back to my place and lock the door. She then started banging on the door hard in about 10 minutes, saying she had left her phone in there. I grab her phone off the kitchen counter and open the door to hand it to her. She tries to barge inside, and I block her with my forearm. She then acts like she is about to punch me. I just hold my ground and tell her she is not coming in. She screams she wants the whiskey bottle we were drinking from. I told her no because I paid for it. I slam the door at that point and lock it. I hear her bang on the door for a minute. I then hear her footsteps going down the stairs. I waited about an hour and then went walking outside to see if she was still hanging around. I didn't see her, nor did I ever see her again after that.